Got something tickling my nose. Ah!
Good morning.
Good morning. Oh, I think I forgot water again.
Welcome to our Monday.
Welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow Tuesday Monday show.
The Liz and
No.
the adventures of Liz and Rebecca.
There we go. We say Tuesday Monday because some people home might be going, but it's not Monday. It's our Monday. Tuesday is our Monday. Because Monday is like our Sunday or Saturday or one of those kind of. I don't know. Anyway, the shop is not open on Sunday and Monday. That's it.
Yep.
I'm still working my butt off from home. Yesterday, Jimmy, it's the tickle in my nose.
Allergies.
Maybe. I don't have them as bad as some of my family members, but maybe that could be location, right? Geography. It's hard to say.
The yellow cloud of dust is descending on everything.
I did when one of my family members, when we Zoomed this weekend, said, I don't know why my eyes are watering and this and that. And I'm like, here, the pollen is already crazy because she didn't think it was crazy yet. And see, that limits who I could be talking about a little. It excludes one person from my family. But and I said, oh, it's everywhere here. And who knows, maybe it blew from here to you. Even if the trees aren't blooming where she is, it could still be blown around from somewhere where
There's pre-pollen.
there's just
stuff.
Yay, spring.
Last week there were little puddles on the table
I
from
was telling her that. Yes.
from a rain, and I go out to dry off the puddles from the rain, and there's all this little yellow dust stuff floating, and I was like, oh,
It's here.
Yeah.
So yeah, hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in hard to describe because there's not much happening, Brevard, North Carolina.
I'm Liz. I'm the minion there.
Like
It's gonna be sunny and nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be a decent day today.
Tomorrow we're getting the rain that Texas got last night.
Yeah, I did see that we're gonna be getting a lot of rain tomorrow. And we got a lot of rain like last Wednesday, I feel like. So it's like there's a theme here. It's like hump day on the weather
Rain
thing
in
is
the
a
middle
hump
of the week
of rain.
and then cold on the weekend because it's gonna
It's gonna be cold this weekend.
well, like cold in the low 50s.
Okay.
You know, not the mid 60s.
Okay. Well, I think I can make do with that. But no, yesterday I didn't get really, I got little bits and pieces of knitting done yesterday. I got quite a bit done Sunday because that was our virtual sit and stitch and our Sunday virtual sit and stitch. Oh, and Liz and I talked yesterday. Heads up to everybody that April is a hot mess with trying to figure out a good date for a virtual sit and stitch because Easter is when we would have done it, and it's Easter. And we have so many events coming up in April and at the beginning of May. Yarn crawl. Yay, we have to talk about that a little bit more. That we need to take a month off from virtual sit and stitch. And those of you who only join us for virtual sit and stitch, I know that is very sad. And considering that we're starting a new knit along, you might have been like, ooh, I wanted to sit and knit with you during the knit along in April. We got to find other ways to do that. Do it on social media, do it in the Facebook knit along group. If you haven't joined that yet, please do, because lots of people will be sharing photos there. Tag your stuff if you're on Instagram. Because we have so much going on. Like we need to, she might be coming with me. We're going to talk about it later. She was going to, we'll see.
Still am.
Okay, we have to figure out a time to do that on this Sunday. We need to take all of the giveaways from various yarn companies to another yarn shop so the other yarn shops can pick it up from that yarn shop. Yay, the yarn crawl is happening this year. It just is, it's a lot of work to get ready. And I never feel like I'm ready.
No. There will be,
no matter how much work I do.
And so like with the filming, you were like, hey, I think I'm going to schedule it for the 17th. Oh crap, that's Easter. And if we did it a week before,
it's really close to when we just did it. Yeah. And it's Palm Sunday, which for some people is, I mean, yeah, for some people, there's always going to be a hitch to coming, probably. But and then a week later is right on top of all the events that we're planning
Yeah.
for, and we need to get as much rest in advance of that as
Yeah.
we can.
Like
and
local yarn shop day.
yes,
just a
that's
heads
April
up.
30th.
And then
And
the
then
yarn
the
crawl.
yarn crawl is the first week of May. So it's like local yarn shop day, and then boom, we're into the crawl. It's May 3rd through the 7th. And we'll be doing lots of stuff in-house. I haven't figured out if there's a way to make an online component to this. Maybe I'll try to have a giveaway for people signing up online that's separate, but I cannot guarantee that yet because there's a lot going on.
It is every year we've had the yarn crawl.
Mhm.
We love the yarn crawl. Y'all are awesome. Every year we've had the yarn crawl. We start talking in February going, okay, the yarn crawl is coming.
Or even earlier.
Or
but
even
yes,
earlier. And
shop wise, yes.
what do
February.
we want for the yarn crawl? What can we afford to get in for the yarn crawl? Because some of those months are very deserty months. And then all of a sudden, it's the end of April, and we're going, ah! And
Just like that.
yeah.
Yeah. And most crawls, I feel unprepared, and we don't have enough in the shop, and it's never, people are going to hate our shop and blah, 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 blah. And usually it's wonderful, and it's wonderful meeting everybody. And it's a good, used to be long weekend. Now it's more week. It's Tuesday through Saturday, the first week of May. There are 11 shops participating. So much fun. The idea is you go to as many or as few as you want. And have fun and see what they have, because we all have different personalities and different flavors and maybe some overlap of yarn, but often very different yarn and fun things to go along with it being crawl, to go, yay, hooray. It could be sales, it could be giveaways, it could be all kinds of things. Everybody plans their own stuff, and it sometimes changes year to year, and we haven't had one for 2 years. This is our first one where, I mean, at least at our shop, we're still going, ew, COVID, and let's just make this work. But in previous years, it was, ew, COVID, we're not even going to try. So, new normal, yay. Long story long and roundabout way to talk about all of the different things coming up, which will hopefully remind you of our next virtual all Sunday afternoon, at least for us. For some people, shout out to Donna, it's in the morning. Next big, huge 4-hour long Sunday virtual sit and stitch will be in May. Will be May 22nd. So until then, find ways to connect with us and connect with the people you're used to seeing on that, because we're trying not to have like melt into a puddle on the floor. And part of that is making some conscious choices about conserving energy, unfortunately. So we still love y'all. Anyway, you look like you were going to say something, and I probably talked all the way through it that you don't remember anymore. And that's okay.
Oh, probably going to say we're so close to melting into the floor now that throwing
The littlest thing.
throwing another something is going to be like puddles.
Puddles.
Yeah.
You're going to come in. It's going to be like the Wicked Witch of the West. You're going to come in and say, puddles with clothes on top that look like Liz and Rebecca. What happened? I think I'm binging Scrubs, and I don't think it was recently, but it sticks in the head. There's one where it's like everyone's characters from the Wizard of Oz, and Jordan is the Wicked Witch of the West melting in like an overheated room or something. Anyway, neither here nor there. So let's move to, is there anything else housekeeping wise? Maybe, I can't remember. I got in here kind of late again. So not a full hour today, but as much as we can. Ooh, got an itchy spot. So what have you been working on this weekend?
Okay. Well,
That does bring me back to something else, but not right
one
now.
thing, and then I have,
I'm seeing a theme.
it's yeah. I've gotten more of my,
You turned the corner on that. I
turned
don't
the
know if
corners.
you had done that by last Thursday.
I think I had just started, so there was just a little bit, and now I'm pretty good and turned.
That's awesome. Do you know how many stitches you're down to? Don't worry about counting right now.
10,
if you're-
20,
Never
30,
mind.
40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90,
She has
100,
stitch
10,
markers.
20, 30. I have 130 stitches.
And what
or
was
just
your
about
what was your biggest part of this?
180.
Okay, so she has decreased 50 whole stitches. And is it one stitch
It's
per
one
row?
stitch per row.
Yeah, so that's a lot of rows. That's 1-to-1 ratio. It's 50 rows. So so remind everybody what this is.
This is my Hap Shawl, the Hansel pattern.
Okay.
And I have increased one repeat. So, and I'm doing it on bigger needles, but it is two strands.
I can almost see you through that. That's really cool. Go ahead.
2 strands of Mayu Lace. So
Like
I'm
this
double
stuff,
stranding.
but in red.
Um,
Yeah, weren't we saying it's going to be like your most expensive shawl?
it is the most expensive shawl I have ever done. Caveat, when you work at a yarn store for yarn, sooner or later you've played with all the yarn.
Even the expensive stuff.
Even the expensive stuff. And then it becomes, well, how much yarn can I stick in a project?
That could be why I'm single stranding mine. Where did mine even go?
I have a snag.
There's so many. You have a snag, but
Yeah.
snags can usually
I've
be
got
worked
to
out.
I've got to work it back in, but it's right
I
there.
have so many snags for my cat. I've learned how to. I did that on the virtual sit and stitch. I worked a big, huge snag back into my sweater. I'm single stranding on teeny tiny needles, the same stuff, but I'm sure like the feel is going to be so different, which is both cool and weird and whatever.
That is
I have not done any more on this really.
So teeny tiny, it looks like, doll knitting or something.
It's gonna be a top that maybe I can wear. Not nearly as thick as this. Couple stitches slipped off.
Oops.
That's okay.
Yeah, and this is so teeny tiny, you might need a microscope.
No, I'll just go cross-eyed fixing it. Come on, Liz.
We do have readers.
We do, and we're getting more readers, and they're fancier, so they're a little more expensive than the usual ones we carry. But I think I last stopped this, and we're gonna go back to you. This is totally a like side whatever. I stopped this when I had to knit 6 rows straight. Like I'd done the short rows, and I had to do 6 rows straight, and I didn't want to count. And I think I've done 2 rows. It's gonna take forever. The 6s I'm using on other things right now feel massive after I knit with this for a little while. But I should be using stitch stoppers on the end of these so things don't fall off, and I'm not. Oh well. Not much more progress on this than if and when I showed it off. I don't even know if I showed this off.
No.
I wasn't even going to talk about this today. I'm doing a study in pink with coral. It's almost pink. It's a new color of the Mayu Lace that came in. That's just absolutely gorgeous. Let me. You want to feel it?
It is so.
And that's coming from someone who's knitting with this stuff. It is royal alpaca, cashmere, and mulberry silk. And the regular Mayu is like a DK weight and fluffy. And this, we don't have the regular Mayu. We only have the lace weight, just for something new and different in the shop.
The difference in feel, like this is squishy and soft and squishy,
And this is just
and that's
thin
just
and soft
thin and soft.
It's like gossamer wings.
Yes. It's just
okay.
Not that I'm ever going to do that, because those are
it's written the
make
pattern
believe needles.
It's a Melanie Berg pattern, and it's written for it's totally make believe imaginary needles, because it's written to be done on US 2.5s, which are like 3mm needle. Yes. And to get gauge, which was 30 stitches over 4 inches, I had to go down to 1.5 just to be on the safe side. It could backfire on me and not fit. I don't know. Could be too small. But it feels really nice. It feels really, really nice. Okay. Yeah. So, but here's the thing is like, I'm also going to be using single-stranded Mayu Lace for one of my ranunculi for the April knit along. That should only take me 2 of these skeins. They're like 400 meters each. This one, which may end up being a smaller top, by the calculations of the pattern writer, should take me 3 of these, and that has everything to do with gauge. My stitches are smaller, so they use up a lot more yarn. It is the fabric is denser than it's going to be for my ranunculus. My ranunculus is going to be like super gossamer wings because it's going to be super like big and open and fluffy. So yeah. Anyway, to get back to your theme,
I redid my hair.
And then you dressed in red to match
and then I
it. And
dressed
like,
in red and black.
Woo! So yes, she was redoing it during. It's so long. I mean,
yeah.
when I saw it on camera and it looked like it was going to be like as tall as
it's
you,
also wet,
yeah.
so you know it looks black, but in the camera. But
in the camera.
So I have black and pearl fiber add-ins. So
it's, you know, someone was saying you looked witchy.
Yeah.
Like last time.
That was last time.
And this looks witchier in a good way, I think. I think it looks really cool. Really, really cool.
I have figured out that my old sets of dreads were done, like I measure them with a ribbon, and I switched ribbons at some point.
So scientifically.
It is. So this was the old ribbons. These are the new ribbons, and they're 5 inches longer.
Yes, but overall, hopefully no one's paying attention. Or you can just tell them you have layered dreads. Like, you know, people pay big money to have layers in their hair.
Sunday, you asked how long were my dreads, and I was like, they're like 61, 60,
because I was looking
long.
at what she was working on camera, and it like she kept doing this, and they kept going, and I was like, how long are those?
They're folded in half.
I mean, it's cool.
So they're as tall as I am.
But yes, you have a theme going on between your hair and your dress.
Red and black
today.
Red and black. And red.
And to get back to, I totally did a squirrel with this thing. The Melanie Berg thing's got like straight knitting and lace, and we'll see. There's so many projects of straight knitting I've stalled out on. This one I didn't because it was going so fast. But we were talking about the Hap Shawl. Yes. And like we were talking about it on the virtual sit and stitch this weekend also, of how it's a square with a fancier border often, but the square is not made by just going straight across. It's made by increasing and then decreasing, that kind of so the stitches in the square don't run straight across the square. They run on a diagonal, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
It's neat, right?
I'm still debating how I'm going to block this and where I'm going to block this.
Like pre edging or post edging?
Post.
You're supposed to do it after, right?
Finish the whole thing, and then yeah.
You're not going to build a whole like stretcher frame.
I've thought about it, but wood being the price that it is, you know,
just nail it to the side of your house.
Well, I've thought about nailing it to the side of the
No, don't do that. Oh my gosh, most people's siding on their houses is not such that you can do that.
The other problem with nailing it to the side of the house or inside on the drywall is
just put it on the wall.
I talked to, shout out to Amy D for one of my last projects, and I was like, I'm half tempted to just put nails in a square and just stretch it out, and she goes, you're gonna stretch it so tight that like the drywall is gonna go.
Be like, why do you have to move? There was an incident. Like, why is the value of your house half of what it once was? Well,
it was a load bearing wall.
Oh no.
Yeah. So
Were you monogamously working on your Hap Shawl and working on your dreads? Was that two big things this weekend?
Those were all I've worked on because we had to go get the car oil changed. So I took the Hap with me.
Her glasses are red too. Sorry, I squirreled.
They are. Yeah. I took my Hap Shawl with me when I went to get the car oil changed. And Sunday, while I was waiting for my hair to dry after I dyed it, I worked on my Hap Shawl just because it's straight knitting. So I didn't have to. Most of my other projects are pick up stitches, start sleeves.
Oh, like complicated.
They're more complicated than I could do in like, you know, whatever time. So yes, I kind of monogamously, and I really, 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 really want to play with this. So it does get a little boring, and I really, really, really want to start like 50 other projects. I know that's so surprising. It's like, and for my birthday I have to finish a sweater. For May I have to finish a sweater.
This have to.
Well,
You're
you know,
trying really hard not to say the word should.
Trying
because we
really
call
hard.
each other on that. But the have to, that sounds like deadline knitting to me, which
Well,
is not as fun,
the-
but sometimes necessary.
the sweater goes with the birthday dress, which goes with the red hair.
Maybe you just
so-
have to celebrate it late.
Yeah, and
Fucking
then
hell.
the
Because then there's the yarn crawl.
the yarn crawl, like it's crafting your path.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Craft your path
Craft-
is the phrase for the crawl.
and I'm going with my
Craft
zombies
your
journey.
yes, it's like craft your way to the your path, your journey to the shops. It is show us what you have been crafting along your path on the past 2 years.
And the past 2 years, I've kind of been obsessed with zombie stuff. So I need to
And
finish
with
my
dreads.
zombie sweater,
Mhm.
and I'll have zombie dreads.
And then after that, the sister of Omicron's coming. So after that, we'll probably go into bunkers. No, y'all know hopefully that we keep masking consistent at the shop, regardless of either the I want to say contamination levels, but you know, what's the right word? Anyway,
The incident rate.
yeah, incident rate or a level of catchability or whatever. Or perceived level of that, because there's different ways to categorize that. We just keep mask consistent at the shop, and you know, it's just easier than going back and forth and saying what's the COVID weather today. It's just like just mask up in the shop, you know, for the foreseeable future. So we're ready when the sister of Omicron comes. But anyway, enough about that. So I worked on a bunch of things and probably only made minimal progress, except for like one thing I spent most of my time on Sunday. So and most of them were sweaters. So I'm gonna start with the one non-sweater thing that I'm actually working on, the one shawl wrap thing I'm working on. And I haven't made it all that far on it, but you know, from last time maybe. But the As You Wish clue, the mystery Princess Bride mystery knit along, I believe the last clue was released today, clue number 5. I'm still in the middle of clue number 3. Speaking of deadline knitting, if you treat it like I have to keep up, it's deadline knitting. And I'm so far behind that I have given up on that. I want to still work on it and get it done because it's fun. But this morning, I did a picking up stitches video on my Instagram feed, because you do a lot of blocks like this on only one half, and then you have to pick up stitches along the edge to make it knitting that's going to go both ways. But this is my Princess Bride mystery knit along so far.
That looks so cool.
I do love the colors that I picked. It's really fun. They're all kind of pulling. But these in here, this was wine goblets with iocane powder. That was a fun stitch. I'm heading into the section. I really like the swords and stones section that was down here. I think I'm going to do it one more time before clue 3 is over. I'm heading into the Oh My Sweet Wesley section, I think she calls it. And it's going to be using colors 1 and 2, my buttercup colors. So that's fantastic. This continues, like most people are like, this is a blanket now. It's not really wide enough. It's a skinny blanket when you're done.
It'll be a nice wrap.
I've heard rumors that at the end she gives you instructions if you want to make it longer or if you want to keep it where it is. But I'm not there yet. I just read her email. So what I think is really cool about this section actually is that we have these fire swamp flames pop up all over the place. And in this, they're like off center on the corner, if I did them right. I haven't looked at the cheat pictures yet, but I'm pretty sure it's fine. So yes, this was the one thing that I kind of quasi sort of maybe did a little work on since we last talked. I'd like to stay on top of it and get more progress done, but A, I've been distracted, and B, there's too much going on. Like yesterday, I was starting to say, and then conversation took another turn, which is fine.
Sorry.
No, it's fine because I was butting into your part of the episode anyway. I want to beat sorry out of everybody, but I can't because that's me. So
It's my default word.
It's most people, especially most women's default word. And so I'm sensitive to it because I say it too.
We had someone in a while ago whose default word was "that's hilarious," and then would have to go, well, no, that's not hilarious, but it was their default word, like that's hilarious. And I told Rebecca,
it's like when their brain shuts down, that's what pops out.
Yeah. So I could be saying that's hilarious, but instead, I'm sorry.
But the other reason I didn't get any knitting done yesterday is I was working on the newsletter. Like Mondays tend to be full of anything but knitting, even though it's a day off from the shop. And I know you've heard me, it's I'm being very repetitive, but because I always say that. But I did the newsletter, and then I'd been brainstorming doing a video on how to set up 2 at a time sleeves, which these are now set up because I did them while filming. What? Oh, yeah, it does the little, like, it's like a Muppet thing. I did the video for how to set up. You can't just like go like this and put them on, because I mean you could, but then you have to think extra hard about what you're doing where, and you could mess it up and have the decreases that are supposed to be down here up here. So I made a video about how to set this up, and I did my usual thing where I draw it all out and then I actually do it. And it's decently complicated for all the videos I make. Some of the things I make, it's to make things easier. And this is to make this easier, but there's only so easy you can make this, because you have to kind of go up and then come over and go up. Like it's a weird.
It falls into the small circumference knitting because of sleeves.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a wonky, complicated bit, regardless of what method you use.
And then when you want to do them 2 at a time, it's a little more complicated than 2 at a time socks, because you're attaching it to something that's already been created. You're not starting from scratch. So you have to be careful how you attach it, so that one needle is always, you're doing the same thing twice on one needle and the same thing twice on the other needle. And if this was set up instead of like this to be like this, then you couldn't do the same thing twice on one needle, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, maybe my video will help, but maybe not. So I have 2 balls of yarn for the 2 separate sleeves. I'm not done with this sweater. This is my Elowen pullover from Ready Set Raglan. But when I ran out of the first skein of this darker teal, I stopped there and did my video, because it's been burning a hole in my brain to try to do this video. I ended up filming an 1.5 hours of footage for this video. And when I edited it, I managed to boil it down to about 58 minutes. It's probably the longest video I've ever done for tips and tricks, because I'm drawing things and then I'm doing it. And I also had to refilm stuff when what I wrote out was not what actually happens. I had to go back and refilm it, because I was like, of course, we do this and this. And then I drew it out and went, no, we do this and then this. Yeah. But actually, that's what making these videos helps me with, is how to make sense of stuff like this. So I've already gotten one person who watched it last night, because I posted it like right before bed last night. Someone who watched it, she's like, I'm only 34 minutes in, but it makes me want to pick up one of my old projects and work on it again. So I always say with my videos, when I draw and then do, it's a lot of stuff. I've also had someone comment on one of my brioche videos of like, this is overload. And my brain is, and I get that too, that I draw and then do. For some people, either don't watch it all at once or only watch the part you like. If you like the drawings because it helps you figure it out, great. If you like the doing it with yarn because it helps you figure it out, scrub through to that, right? Do whatever works for you. Watch the whole thing, take your time with it. But again, this is why I didn't get a whole lot of knitting done this weekend, because filming this, which got it set up, which is great, and then editing it can take twice as long as filming it. Like, you do the math in your head of how much time I spent yesterday making a video about this. So, but I'm super excited that I'm making progress on it, because this has been kind of stalled for a little bit or in timeout. And now there's a chance, depending on time and energy of me, of maybe finishing it one day. Yeah.
It's a really pretty sweater.
Isn't that pretty? And someone on, I want to say it was probably Jan, but someone on the virtual sit and stitch was like, when I said it's knit 2, purl 2, ribbing for the whole thing, and she's like, I never would have started that. And I get that too. But I like to try different things just so people in the shop can be inspired by different things. And then I may never make a sweater like this again because I may have decided it's too much work.
Like the sweater I wanted to do, really wanted, saw a picture of it, knew I could, you know, find another sweater like it. 1x1 rib on fingering weight in teeny tiny needles. It's never going to happen. So I just like the color more. So I did a sweater that was the right color.
There you go. I'm going to try to show the rest of this off without taking up too much time because we should open the shop in like 7 minutes or so. I don't think I showed this off since I got a little more work done on it. This is my Polyrhythm. This is a bottom up sweater that's getting stuck on itself right now. It's chunks of 8 rows to make these little blocks. And then every 8 rows, it shifts to something else. And I'm on my 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm nearing the end of my 5th set of blocks, and I am loving how this is coming out. It's going to take a while. I'm like, all my sweaters right now are just going to take a while, but you know, isn't that pretty? It's
going to be awesome.
Berg Ultra Alpaca.
I like the little halo it's got.
There's a little bit of fuzz. Speaking of fuzz, this is the one I did the most on virtual sit and stitch. Hang on to that for a second. I actually did spend a little bit of time on my Avena. I'm slowly getting there. I can't spread it out on the whole yoke thing because it's not on stitch holders right now on my barber cords, but I'm going to try to show you what it's looking like. I'm maybe 10 more rows of this yoke, making some really good progress on that. It's going to be so pretty. Can't wait to get the sleeve separation because then I can try it on for y'all. My basket here, my medium-sized basket, I've got a big Sully and a yarnet and 2 sweaters. When I'm using the handle as like the max for how much I stuff it and I can still hold it, I can put 2 sweaters worth with big, huge containers into this thing. Anyway. Oh, and there's a little bit of my Angel's Envy down there. The pockets are still down in there. So I did a little knitting on this during the virtual sit and stitch of the 4 hours I was sharing with y'all. And then I moved over. Where's that? Ooh. I got a pull in the mohair that might be causing an issue there. I will deal with that later. It probably got caught on the basket. I'll figure that out because that looks like a break in the mohair or something. I'll figure that out in a minute. I don't think it will ruin the sweater because mohair is so sticky. I will make that work. What I did do, and oh, it's on the back, so I only half care about that anyway. After sit and stitch, I got a lot of this done during sit and stitch. I want to say I was here.
Yeah.
This is long enough now. And the size I picked was so ginormous because I think when I picked the size, I weighed a little more than I do now. I've been working on this for a long time. Excuse me while I strip. It's on 12-inch circulars, which actually I don't have to take it off onto stitch holders at this point for where it lies on the sweater. I finished all the decreases and I almost finished the sleeve itself. It's long enough now. It's actually like if I do any amount of ribbing after this, it's going to take it down to that super comfy zone where it'll keep my hands warm in the winter. I might back out 1 row. I did 1 row past the end of the decreases on this. What's really cool is I'm going to go through like from the sleeve separation, which is up here. See how baggy that is? That's why doing 15 inches.
That's where where you started the sleeves, just right in here.
It's 1 whole color repeat for my sleeve, which if I play my cards right, I can pick up, I might not have enough left in this ball to do a whole nother sleeve, but I can pick up, oh, you know what? I think I have this on backwards.
You do.
Which means the snag is in the front.
Of course it is.
Which means I'm going to have to work on it. But anyway, it's still the same. I'm like, why is this right in my, oh, that's the middle of the back. Let's try. I got to figure out this snag thing then. Mohair is pretty resilient, but I did something. It is this right here. See that?
Hold on. Oh, I see. It did.
Yeah. it pulled things tight. There was another thing I fixed on my sleeve that was pulling the
Pulled about 2 inches.
I will not obsess about that right now because we have to go soon. But I fixed something on my sleeve that was pulling the other yarn where I was able to work it back in. I might be able to work this back in. I might just have to cut my losses. If there's a spot in there that once I work out the tightness doesn't have mohair over the grand scheme of the life of the sweater, it'll be okay. So there we go. See, the neck falls a little better there, but the same thing. I'm going to back it up a row, and I didn't have I'm on US 6s. I didn't have the 4s in the 12-inch or in something that I could magic loop to circular to finish this. So this is not done today, but it is really close to being done. This one sleeve.
It looks so comfy.
End of this sweater is in sight. Yes, it looks so comfy, and it's something I may not wear regularly until it's cold again. But excuse me, fuzzies in the nose. We have to go. I will leave this on for now. Fiber cords everywhere. I made progress on all my sweaters to some extent. And I can't wait to finally finish this sweater. Might take me a little while. Donna was wondering if I could get it done before the knit along. And I'm like, in prepping for the knit along, probably not. But I'm really close and it's exciting. So who knows? My excitement could overtake everything and I could focus on this instead. I swirl a lot. We have sit and stitch. We have sit and stitch tonight from 7 to 9 p.m. online. We're gonna look at in the summer, like later spring and summer, of potentially doing outdoor, maybe once a week sit and stitch, but it's still a super hot maybe on that. But tonight, 7 to 9 p.m. on Zoom, use the shop phone number to get in.
828-877-3550.
7 to 9 p.m. East Coast time. And then tomorrow, we have someone walking up already. We have to go. Tomorrow, we'll try to sell you some yarn. Bye.